Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Empowerment 444. I'm Emma and just wanted to hop on today to talk about abundance and how it affects our lifestyles in every way, even when we're unconscious of it, even more so when we're unconscious of it, obviously. I'm sure many of you are on the spiritual path or curious, or we use the word spiritual and it does offend a lot of people that aren't supposedly or consciously on that path, but we all are. It's just another word for life and self-discovery and discovery of us and how we fit into the world around us. So it's obviously a really special topic. It's something that's spoken about a lot. There's a lot of books and podcasts and videos out there about manifesting and how to attract in what we want and living our best lives, and that is amazing, and that's obviously happening for a reason. Sorry, I just want to say I'm in the park while I'm talking and channeling this, so apologies if there's any external shouts and noises or wind blowing. But yeah, so sorry, I'm getting distracted. Abundance, we're bombarded in the best way with lots of information about it at the moment, and that's happening because it is part of the collective field. The universe wants to bring that into our awareness, into our consciousness, that we are powerful co-creators and we can manifest anything we want into our lives if it's for the highest good, if it's in alignment with our path. I think a lot of us get frustrated when we're doing the manifesting work, we're doing the morning mantras, we're connecting in, we're trying to, attracting these things and do everything we think or we know are the right things. And sometimes when it doesn't yield results, it can be really frustrating. But I think that's because there's obviously some part of us that is still in lack mentality, still in fear, still, saying and really believing and actually actively wanting those things, but maybe on some level not being ready for it. Like we all say we want to win the lottery, for example, one of the most common things, but are we ready for that? Are we ready for our whole lives to be changed to the point where we've got all the money we need? And then what? And then what do we do? There's obviously an association, a correlation between the rich and famous and drug misuse, and that's obviously because they're abundant, they've got all this income, but it can lead to feelings of frustration, of like lack of life purpose because you don't need to work. So then what do you do? How do you find your purpose in that? And I do believe celebrities are in those roles for a reason, because they're light workers, like many of us. We all are, really, when we awaken to it. We're all the same. Nobody's more special than anyone else, but we are all special. This is the point. We all hold our own unique certain type of magic that can heal the world and the people around us in ripples, even in the small conversations that we have. So yeah, the celebrity topic, a lot of people, they go through those drug, or not even necessarily just drugs, big breakdowns or life shifts and changes, transformations, like many of us, and they're in the spotlight for it, which can make it 1,000 times more magnified. But that is another form of awakening, right? They're just shifting from one way of being into another, and it's just happening in front of our eyes. So it's in blessings to those people, because that can be the hardest, when we're going through those hard times. Imagine just having all the eyes on you. I did watch that Amy Winehouse documentary film, which I wasn't going to bother with. I mean, I've got a past of working in the film industry, and that's a thing for another time. But we all feel in a way like we lived through that if we were around in the early 2000s and saw what was going on in the media with her problems that were magnified to us. Obviously we didn't see the whole story, we saw the media lens of it, but I happened to see it one day. It was on at the right time, and I'm really glad I saw it, because again, it just adds to not only my interest of people in the limelight for a reason at certain times, but I think she was really misunderstood collectively and judged for her tattoos, for her smoking, for her drugs and drinking and alcohol problems, which it's not the whole story. We never know the whole story. I do wish, that would be one of my wishes for humanity, for myself included, that we could all learn how to judge less when we don't have the full story, because we're always judging from our, I do want to say limited here, our limited awareness of that person's story. We're judging from our own perception, from our own lens and from our own experience, and saying it's good or bad and just adding labels, and that's not helping the world, even if it comes from the best place or from a more enlightened place, or if you're, way down the spiritual path. And in some ways that's when we're sometimes in our ego more, because we think we know better, and it is just about coming back to ourselves and to the peace inside us and seeing that in another, and really trying to surpass the ego in those moments. So yeah, that film was very interesting. Sorry, I went off topic a little bit there. So I was saying about, as an example, if we won the lottery, would we be prepared for that kind of sudden shift of where do we go from here? Like, obviously it is a joyful, amazing thing to attract abundance and to be able to spend and enjoy. And obviously it's not just about the money, it's the freedom that can perceivably give us in being able to travel and see the world and interact with people and do all kinds of courses and learn, many, many benefits. But after a certain time it might wear off, like the sudden hit that money gives us, and we're still living a life, we're still here to learn, to grow as souls, to come here to do what we intended to do before we came to this planet. So I think it would leave a big whole space of something, all our lives we're striving to work towards something, to achieve. And when many of us are blessed to get there, it is a big reassessment of like, is this what I wanted? Does this feel how I thought it would? I'm successful by society standards, but am I happy? So yeah, are we ready for the things that we say that we want when we're manifesting? And I'm at that stage now because I'm having big awareness and shifts and downloads of things coming in, things that I thought I knew, and completely seeing it in a different light, and changing everything about my knowledge and understanding of that thing. So I'm trying to do, I've always, on my spiritual journey, tried to do and have done the shadow work, because I do believe that as you raise your vibration, your frequency higher and higher on a level, you also have to go lower and lower in terms of digging out the shadows, the things that hold us back, because our physical bodies, our heavier, denser weights and energies is weighing us down as we're getting higher. So we do need to clear and cleanse and purge out all of that stuff in order to raise even higher. So yes, I'm going to commit myself to more shadow work, because I'm focusing, it's come into my energy field about abundance more and more. And I'll just share a little thing that the reason why this has come up more for me is that I am temporarily not working, quotations, in terms of, work, I'm not going to patronise and explain. I feel like I'm still working spiritually and doing what I'm called to do by my spirit guides and my higher self in the universe. But I just left a job in France. I am from England. I moved to France for a year to work as a Walt Disney Imagineer at Disneyland Paris, behind the scenes. I was working on the Frozen expansion as the lead set decorator. I got promoted while I was there. That is a job that I have always wanted to do all my life, and I will definitely speak separately about this because it's a whole personal story. But I always wanted to work there. I wrote letters to the Imagineers as a child. I was hugely inspired by Walt Disney and his innovative style and storytelling and art, and by Disney. Obviously I know it's a big company and there's all different people and lots, that goes with that. But I made the decision to leave that job. I worked really hard to get there. I worked for years in theatre industry and the film industry as a set decorator, and it kind of perfectly aligned with going into Imagineering as a set decorator. But when I was there, it was pretty cushy. There was great parts of the job. There were also very challenging parts of the job. I just realised that being where I am on my journey, on my spiritual path after my awakenings, that it just wasn't in alignment with my higher self. I felt like I was pressing pause on my life to do that job because I needed to do that job, and I always wanted to, and I did manifest it in with a lot of hard work and co-creation with spirit, and I pushed for it even though I knew the spirit knew better. I had lots of messages beforehand, like about it not being forever, and but I wanted to, in my arrogance or ego mind, do it. I had to do it. But Spirit was right, it wasn't for me in the long run, because it is a big system, big company, and I'm a creative, freelance, bohemian kind of wandering soul, and I always have been, and I don't like necessarily being tied into a structure, a certain way of doing things. I like working for myself. I've always worked freelance, even on big feature films. It's a freelance job, you go from film to film. So yeah, so where I'm at now is that I'm not working. Not working / freelance. I'll do more film set decoration projects in between growing my own company, as I'm called to do. But that can make a lot of people, myself included, in fear of like, oh God, what's happening next? Where am I at? What's going to come in? Where's the income going to come? How am I going to live my life? Natural fears. And I do my best to respect and honour that. There's a reason why that's coming up, our sense of, root chakra, foundation, stability, how we support ourselves. But I trust the divine, I trust life, I trust the universe, that I will be supported, like the divine universe, the abundant universe will provide. I believe that. And I've always believed in magic and imagination. It's led me to where I am. I had to go through the breakdowns and awakenings along the way, but I believe that now more than ever, because I've learned through leaving that Disney job that the magic was never in a company. The magic was always in me, in each of us, in all of us. It's funny because, anyone that can resonate with always having a dream job or a goal or something they really want to do all their life, when we think about that thing, we get lit up, we're high vibration, we feel great, you can dance around, and when we're blessed enough to receive it, it's just electric, the magic. But I realised that feeling that I was having, that came from inside me. I generated that feeling, yes, thinking about something else. And obviously doing the job, doing whatever it is a very different reality. It's not to say it's not as good or the grass is always greener, because I think it's about your perception and what you bring to it. Or, certain people say when you get to the thing you want, you've already energetically moved past it. And that's a big thing, because then it's almost like we're always striving. But that's the point, right? Is that we don't need to strive, that we already absolutely are perfect and have everything we need to be happy and fulfilled within us, and that the external reality is an illusion. Obviously we want it to work with us and for us and enjoy our lives physically as well as internally and spiritually rather. But yeah, that magic is inside of us. It was never in that company. In those moments when you're dreaming of it, it was inside you. And that's the most empowering thing that I have realised. That's the message that I got from doing that job and leaving it, is that even though I have to grieve the ending of something I've always looked up to and wanted to do, I'm now completely free. And in this transitional, the transition, the surrender, and trust, which does take a lot of learning to do. So I have days where you feel into fears, and then other days where you're trusting. And I went to Dorset at the weekend for my birthday with my partner, and I know what manifesting is. I know that your vibe creates your life, and all the sayings, and whatever you put out there comes back to you, and where energy goes, where attention flows or something. It just kind of, I really experienced it. So I was having a great time, just feeling high vibe, and not just because I was on holiday, wherever I am at the moment, because I'm not working technically. I'm a deep overthinker, philosophical, spiritual. I'm always analysing, and I have to do my best to come into my heart space and out of the head. And I just felt so lit up, and I was really trusting in the universe and surrendering and receiving messages and information. And when I was in that true moment of inner abundance and my well felt full, I went into a bookstore, and saw Deepak Chopra's book on abundance, and it just kind of made me smirk in reflection of it, because I always find that when I go into a bookshop, the very thing that I've been researching or looking up or talking about always jumps out at me on the bookshelf. And so I do start to use this now as a little bit of like an oracle, because it's exactly the same thing as oracles. card decks are a physical way of us obviously tapping into our intuition. The messages reflect back to us the messages we need to know and hear at that time, and it's the same with books. And there's such an abundance of literary history and reference material in bookshops. I love it, and I actually can't read fast enough to get through them, because every time I go into a bookstore I'll get several books popping out at me, and so I start to take pictures for the future. But I always find that even when I take pictures, at that moment when I see them, that's the moment that those books are mirroring and matching the energy that I'm feeling in that moment. That is magic. I think that's incredible. It blows my mind. And yeah, like whatever you're going through or feeling at that time, you're attracting that in that moment. Like everyone says, Eckhart Tolle says, the power is in the present, the power is now, because time is illusion, the future, the past are an illusion, really. I mean, they exist in terms of our collective understanding of society, but everything, our manifesting power, creativity, empowerment is in the present moment, because our vibe creates our life. You know, our energy of the present is constantly attracting in. So I go into that bookshop and I see the Abundance book, and I'm like, I've got so many books to read, I can't buy another one. And I was just like, no, I have to buy that, because in that moment, that is what I'm attracting in, and that's what I'm working through, because it really is the first time in my life that I've truly felt the understanding of that, not just had the, you know, mental knowledge of manifesting and writing and trying to attract in that thing you want. It is attracting in where you're at. So ironically, when we're wanting to win the lottery or we're wanting to get something, we're kind of saying that in the present it's temporarily or currently out of reach, and that we're in need and lack and want, and that is what is pushing it further away in that moment, because you're kind of saying to the universe, I don't have this thing, but I want it. And in that, if you're wanting something and not having it, then you're not manifesting it in. I hope that makes sense. I'm probably saying things that a lot of you already know, but I just wanted to share that, because it just was a really powerful moment of like, it's not what we want and repeating it, it is embodying that change that we want to bring in. And when we embody it, technically you're already feeling so good and fulfilled, because you're embodying that high vibe feeling, that even when it comes in, it doesn't necessarily change because you're feeling that high vibration feeling in that moment. I keep seeing hummingbirds everywhere at the moment as well, and they were on the front cover of this book, obviously a Native American symbol of joy. And when I went to the Imagineering head offices in California earlier on this year in February, it's something I've always wanted to go. I wanted to go to the original, to LA, to California, and see and speak to the set decorators there, which I did. And as I came out of the offices and I was taking a picture of myself outside the Walt Disney Imagineering headquarters, and I was amazed, because I saw a hummingbird in the tree just outside, and I've never seen a hummingbird in my life. Maybe any Native Americans out there, or Native Americans to America, you know what I mean, Native Americans too, but sorry, I'm rambling, but maybe it's a common thing for you guys over there. I've never seen one, and I just was kind of taken aback, like breathtaken by the beauty of it, like the bright, shimmering, shiny colours, and that it was there in a place that I dreamed about for so long. And it was just kind of like, I'm here now, and that's so powerful and beautiful. Even though I knew at that time, it wasn't necessarily going to be forever, or it might come back in, but there's other things I need to do and I'm being called to do. And so I'm in this place of transition. I will do a more personal story another time, but I'm really just leaning into this present feeling of filling up my well and knowing that I will always be supported and provided for when we're living in alignment with our higher selves, with the universe, being of service in a way that suits, I don't know if you want to call it the most high, universe, source, God, divine. We're also being in service to our higher selves, because that's tapping into our destiny, our soul mission and plan for our lives. So we can't be wrong. I don't know if you're like me, you're always second guessing yourself, or like, should I make this decision or that one? And there isn't really a wrong decision, because everything's going to lead to our growth and highest good and understanding on our path. You're powerful, you are abundant, you can attract in anything you want, you are the magic in the world, and we all need to know that. I'm aware of that, I feel that, I've always felt that magic, and I know that a big part of my life purpose is to spread magic in the world, yeah, I'm just really excited about it. I think it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm going to do a reading in a moment using my new Oracle deck, the Golden Future Oracle by Diana Cooper, because like the colours just brought me in. The rainbow colours are beautiful, and all the messages are about, the 5D world, the new earth that we're bringing in. They're everything. It's just beautiful, creative, spiritual abundance in those. So I'll be doing that and posting that later. Thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry, I've just become aware that I keep saying, all the time. And I think when I was a child, I used to do the same thing with like. We will have a word that kind of is our connecting word when we're speaking. And I apologise for that. But thank you very much for listening. And I hope this has resonated with you. Let me know below in the comments. And I look forward to speaking to you again next time. Many blessings. Bye for now.